second here. I'm so sorry. We ran into one quick. I'm so sorry. All right. So sorry about that. Thanks so much. Perfect. Yeah. All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the press conference. It's so great seeing everybody today. My name is Cecilia Castro. I'm the Deputy Director for the Dolores Huerta Foundation. Today, DHF, the Dolores Huerta Foundation, All of Us or None, and other organizations are joining 180 groups to participate in the May 8th John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Action Day. So today, following this press conference, we will also have a votercade, and we will have voter registration and a vaccination clinic, all to honor the legacy of the late Congressman John Lewis, who dedicated his life to protecting voter rights for all Americans. This event is also in response and in support of the passage for the People Act, H.R. S1, the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, H.R. 4, and Washington, D.C.'s Admissions Act, H.R. 51, and addressing the filibuster. Today, we are uniting against the effort to silence the voices of historically disenfranchised communities and to demand the rights of voters to be protected. We saw that following the record-breaking numbers of brown, black, and youth voter turnout in the Georgia runoff election, that state legislatures across America, including California, have released undemocratic legislation designed to specifically suppress the vote of communities of color and youth. The Georgia State Legislature passed SB 202, a highly restrictive voter suppression bill that has been compared to Jim Crow laws. Georgia is one of the 47 states that has introduced or passed over 360 anti-voter legislation laws. And that's not including the one that was just passed in Texas last night. Today, we will rise up collectively across cities in the major U.S. cities, including our very own Kern County, to take the streets in our cars to loudly demand that Congress protect all voters by passing uniform standards for federal elections and restore protections of the Voting Rights Act. We have some amazing speakers lined up for you today. We will start with our first speaker, Chapter President of Bakersfield's All of Us or None, Ucedrah Osby.
Thank you for that great introduction. My name is Ucedrah Osby, and I'm president of All of Us or None at Bakersfield Chapter. And I'm here to tell you guys today about the great passage and the amendment of the California Constitution that All of Us or None and Legal Services for Prisoners for Children passed in our last election that freed the vote for 50,000 Californians on parole. Thank you. It's been a long and hard fight. We had a huge coalition of great leaders that allowed this California amendment to be voted on and turned into Prop 17 and then the passage of over 9 million votes during our last election. We want to also talk about the history, some of the history that's happened in Florida and how this all came about. In the 2000 election, we had a group of thousands of Florida residents that wore the letter F on their shirt. and it represented the how they were mistakenly ID'd as felons and were denied the right to vote. And that was a sounding alarm for all of us to come together and fight for the restoration of everybody's votes. And also the fight that happened in Alabama. We came together and we collectively figured out a strategy in order to gain and restore our right to vote. We have to eradicate these Jim Crow laws that suppress the voting for everybody, all people. Democracy needs everybody. It deserves everybody. And I just ask that you all reflect on the epic day today. John Lewis, we're celebrating good trouble. This is good trouble. Everybody deserves the right to vote, and he was one that led this. That led this historic measure. Our late congressman is being celebrated today, and this is historical for Bakersfield as well. We are doing this on the same exact day, the same exact time as the rest of our country. We are all standing in solidarity, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much to Ucedrah and all of us are none for joining us today in that great speech. And so now, someone that needs no introduction but will be introduced is the founder of the Dolores Huerta Foundation, Dolores Huerta.
Thank you very much for coming today, and I want to just notice some of the folks that are here with us. Service International Union, SEIU, is here with us today. We have CRPE with us today, and many other community organizations. As we said earlier, we are here to commemorate John Lewis and this day of action that is taking place all over the United States of America against the suppression of voting and in support of S1 for the People Act that is now in the U.S. Senate. Unfortunately, our own representative here, Kevin McCarthy, who is the leader. Unfortunately, our own representative here, Kevin McCarthy, who is the leader of the Republican minority in the House, did not vote for this bill. Now, one might ask, why should we care in California if they suppress the vote in Texas or in Georgia or in some other state? Because we know that the measures that are voted on in the Congress affect each one of us here in California. Right now, there are many important measures in the Congress. We have a huge infrastructure bill that is being passed, a big amounts of money also for education, which we badly need. So yes, we have to be concerned in California what happens in other states. So we are asking everyone here in California, please, if you have friends and you have relatives in other states, in Texas, in Arizona, where these voter suppression laws are being passed, please call them and ask them to contact their senator to vote for S1, the John Lewis Voter Protection Act. We need this very desperately right now. We know that here in California, we have a pretty good voter protection laws. And it's when you see that there are places like Texas that are so 50 years behind California in terms of protecting the voters, and to make it worse, it was not bad enough, they're trying to make it worse by passing more voter suppression laws. By the way, May the 8th, we have chosen this day to do these actions because this is the day that Ahmaud Arbery was assassinated in Georgia because he just happened to be a black man of color. And so these are the things that we're protesting against, and we want to just remind everybody, please contact friends and relatives that you know in these other states. Ask them to please vote yes on S1, the Voter for the People Act, which is for voter protection. By the way, there's another law in this HR 4 the District of Columbia which is where our capital is at, Washington, D.C. So the people in this District of Columbia, over 700,000 people that right now are not represented in the U.S. Congress. And that is another measure that has to be corrected. So we're calling on all the public to join us in this effort. In the name of John Lewis, to call everyone that you know, please call your U.S. Senator, ask them to vote yes on S1, the Voter Protection for the People Act, and also on H.R. 4. We can make this happen, but we all have to do it together. So we want to thank you very much for joining us in this, because when we think about voting, this is the foundation of our democracy. If people cannot vote, we could not have a democracy in our United States of America. So this is why it's very, very important that each one of us commit ourselves to this struggle and make sure that people's votes are not taken away from them. Thank you very much. Si se puede. Thank you very much. Could I ask everybody here behind me to join me and say si se puede really loud? Okay, and then we're going to say Viva John Lewis, and I want everybody to shout a big old Viva, okay? Se puede?
¡Sí se puede!
Se puede?
¡Sí se puede!
Se puede?
¡Sí se puede!
Viva John Lewis!
¡Viva John Lewis!
Viva Voter Protection!
¡Viva Voter Protection!
Viva for the People Act!
¡Viva for the People Act!
All right, we have to make it happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dolores. And I just want to also let everybody know about our great events that are coming up. So following this press conference, we will have a votercade, and it will go from here all the way to Mercado Latino. Following Mercado Latino, we will also have voter registration, and we will have a vaccination clinic. So we want to thank you all for joining us today, and hope that you'll be able to join us at the votercade. Si se puede.